Uh, Hey all, welcome to another Lights On discussion session. I think it's going to be a solo session. I'm going to be talking, and in case anyone joins, we'll hear their views as well. Uh, so, so today we'll be talking about the Japanese film Drive My Car. It's based on Haruki Murakami short story of the same name, Drive My Car, and it's uh, it's a very interesting film in a sense that there are these slow burner films that it is quite challenging to watch um, uh, in television. So one of those films that it's 3 hours long. So in case you watch it in a theater, it you will get through the whole film in since it's within the confines of the theater. But if you're watching it, you have so many distractions. So you'll pause it, you'll come back. It's that sort of a film where it's not as uneventful as let's say a Jean Dielman or film the art house films like that, but it is this feels like reading a novel where the story kind of unravels as you go towards the end. So that the longer duration is one it's not a very uh, challenging thing to sit through the film, but the longer duration is something that is so evident. It's not the fault of the film that the duration is staring right at you. I think it's more the sort of uh, life that we all lead at this point, where affording 3 hours for a film that you watch at home is really hard. Um, that's one thing that was staring right at me when I finished the film. Uh, the the beautiful aspect of the film is how it is set in Hiroshima, where a city was built from the ruins of World War II. And here we have a character who is kind of we can say that he's in ruins as well. So how the city where the film is set and the character share kind of similar story arc, where the character from the ruins, he goes towards understanding his life uh, and kind of realizing his purpose, kind of a that is one interesting thing that I noticed. The uh, the the second thing that uh, so this the film is basically based on a multilingual production of Uncle Vanya, the famous Anton Chekhov play. Um, So that's a very interesting thing that I noticed. So all the Japanese films that I have watched till now are very rooted Japanese characters. So it's um, even as recent as Shoplifters, which gained a critical acclaim, and even in that, it's very we don't see um, non-Japanese characters in Japanese films. It's pretty much it's the nationality is pretty much Japanese. Now, interestingly, this film has different kinds of nationalities. So you have a Taiwanese girl who speaks in Mandarin, I think. Then you have I was not sure whether he was Japanese or I think the one of the central characters. I think I assumed that he's Korean, but I think he's Japanese. Not sure. Then you have uh, a vocally challenged girl who communicates in sign language. Um, the there is I mean, there is a very interesting minor things. That the Japanese characters, how they talk behind, talk about the Taiwanese girl. Talking about how they don't understand what she's speaking and laughing behind her back and all that. That's a very interesting social commentary um, on what is happening um, um, uh, around the world. When you have in the same room, people have this tendency of you have one person who does not speak the language that the other three are speaking, and the tendency of, most often than not, the tendency of the other three is to say something bad about that person, behind their back. This sort of thing, although it does not form the although this does not form the uh, it's not a major plot line or anything in this, but it's a minor social commentary that I really enjoyed in the film. And the amazing thing about this multilingual production was the characters are not shown to be speaking in Japanese. There is the Uncle Vanya play happening, so where you have the uh, non-Japanese characters speak in their native tongue. The Japanese characters speak in Japanese, and there is a screen behind them which kind of and it shows the subtitles. And the vocally challenged girl, she speaks in she communicates in sign language, and the verbal interpretation of that is shown as a subtitle above the stage where there's a huge screen. I found it very fascinating, and I really loved how uh, they they it's uh, what the there's been so much talk about language communication, one single language that can unify countries and all that, right? In that uh, day and age, it's it's very fascinating how the film normalizes the communication, where you don't feel awkward that there are two people who speak completely different languages are able to communicate with each other, and there is a huge auditorium of people who are able to understand what is going on. So the whole concept of a single language unifying, it kind of makes it moot. That's something that I really loved. Um, there is another scene that I really it was a very um, there are several moving scenes, but the thing that I really few scenes that I really loved. Um, One is the same vocally challenged girl. There is this amazing dinner table uh, scene where the one of the hero and sort of the heroine are I don't it's not fair to call her heroine. The two central characters are having dinner with the vocally challenged person and her husband. The husband is he's part of the theater production, and the he's such an ethical guy that he apologizes to the director for not revealing the fact that the vocally challenged person is his wife. He did not want to have the appearance of uh, nepotism. Now, this is such an ironic thing because I just saw an interview of a Telugu director who was talking to Bharadwaj Rangan, where he says there is nothing called nepotism. I have no idea what world he's living in, and it's such an contrasting uh, ethics that I saw, one in real life and another in a film, where the person did not reveal that, and he invites the director to a dinner, and then reveals that she's my wife, and I'm so sorry that I did not reveal that. That is an amazing scene. The continuation of that scene is where the vocally challenged person tells the director why she applied this for starring in this play. That is a terrific scene where she talks about how what was going on in her life, and how working in this play gives her kind of a purpose, and how she's happy every day. I love that scene because this is kind of a very um, pivotal point in this whole film, because that's when the character that I mentioned, who's in ruins, he starts getting up after that. Uh, his whole outlook starts changing. That's a pivotal point. This next scene that I loved is, there is this conversation about um, uh, the, uh, the director's uh, um, dead wife, and um, about the director's dead wife with um, one of one of the wife's lovers. So they both have this conversation in the back of the car, where they he narrates the process of his late wife's way of narrating a story, where how stories come to her, how she forgets that, and all that. And this guy finishes that story. This is such an interesting thing is, over the course of this conversation, they both know that his wife has cheated with him, and the her lover knows that okay, her husband knows this information. Now, the whole there is no there is the confrontation is not literal. The confrontation is the confrontation happens. It's right on your face, but it is not verbalized directly. That is an amazing way of uh, showing it. The This is generally how confrontations happen in a novel. Now, when such no, such scenes are adapted to a movie, it really loses the gloss, because the way you interpret a novel and movie are different, and it never gives the full satisfaction. But this scene, the way they do it, and uh, they reveal information um, about the ending of that story, that the last story that the director's late wife was narrating to him. And that scene was very fascinating when um, they both realize uh, they both realize um, uh, and confront each other. I loved one specific thing that I really loved about it is the director is trying to shatter the guy, saying that, hey, you are not her only lover. She had multiple lovers over the course of the last 10 or 12 sorry 10 or 20 years. And he he answers it. He counters that in his own way, by uh, um, by countering his judgment of his wife. When the countering of judgment is more like, he's trying to show her in sort of a negative light, but her lover responds, uh, saying how this guy should be at peace with how peace with the girl having multiple partners, and how she loved her husband and all that. The whole scene, the way it is taken, is really amazing. The third scene that uh, I loved is the the vocally challenged person is my favorite actor in this whole film, because pretty much whatever scenes that really worked for me involves her. So there is this conversation between sorry, not a convent. I mean, it is basically, they are practicing the play, and she and the girl from Taiwan, they both have this conversation, and that ends with the the vocally challenged person hugging the other girl from behind. That scene is such a you. Uh, it will not feel like they are acting. It's like, it something like the director says, something magical happens there, that they are able to get that kind of emotion on um, uh, during their practice, that I it's something else. Um, uh, it's really amazing. And that scene is basically kind of, the film leads. So from that scene, it goes to the previous scene that I was talking about, when these two gentlemen talk about the director's dead wife. So that's the third scene that I loved. The fourth scene is, although there is a pivotal scene that I think happens in Hokkaido, where the director, uh, I mean, the director's driver, she takes him to her village, um, where her house was there. Um, that scene is something that it is such an important scene, but um, I love the other one that I'm going to talk about, which is kind of the final ending scene, where you see the director now, who's portraying Uncle Vanya on stage, and the vocally challenged woman. The whole scene where she talks about how Uncle Vanya can be happy, is it felt like an amazing end to the central character's arc as well. Um, the final ending where she hugs him from behind, and in sign language she says how he can be happy about what he has done in his life and all that. That is really such a moving scene. And the whole ending, the way that finishes, and the light goes, but the light in that lantern is still there, and we hear the applause of the audience. I loved that scene. That was such an high point in that whole film, that it felt uh, cheerful. It felt very happy. And the whole arc of how the character was uh, in his I mean ruins, and him coming to that particular sort of a state felt amazing to me. um, the the last scene that I it's not something that I would say I really loved that scene, but the way the revelation happens in that scene is something that I did not expect that it was coming. Where um, the the director and the car driver who's assigned to her, they both while they are traveling to the driver's village, he talks about how he came home late the night his wife died. And she responds a big secret of hers as well. That whole scene felt um, I was not expecting that. That scene was very affecting. Um, it's just that I was not expecting that scene, so I still do not know what sort of an what to make out of that whole thing. But that revelation was incredible, and I did not expect that coming. And the subsequent scene where she goes to show him the ruins of her house in her village. And it's it's an amazing, it's a like I said earlier, that's a pivotal scene. But somehow the 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 catharsis that was shown in the actual climax worked better for me than this. um those are the like favorite scenes that I loved. The um the what else? The the um I loved how the whole film um, talks about regular people and their struggles in life. It's something that generally films have this tendency. Lot of films, especially the films that do well in the festival circuit, and the um, gets nominated for the awards. There is there is although I'm not questioning the intent of those films um, uh, tend to be um, um, tend to fit into a particular format. Is where I have a problem. So you watch a certain kind of certain films, and you will say that hey, that's a festival film, because it will have uh, it will have a very, very uh, predictable storyline, about kind of a conflict ridden society, and how the conflict ridden society is shown through the eyes of a child. Like I said, it's um, for someone who's watching only the mainstream films. This might seem like a very harsh statement from me, saying castigating all festival films, but when you watch more festival films regularly, you will see this kind of a pattern repeating, uh, which which does not work for me. Let me put it that way. The uh, but this film um, does not fall into that kind of a format. Rather, the on the surface, it's about the characters and their internal struggles. The everything else, all the other social commentary is kind of um, uh, it's under the surface, and you'll have to start peeling the outer surface to see all that. So I think that's one amazing thing. So that's what I meant when the film is about uh, regular people, and their stories. Just to clarify, it's not like all the conflicts that are shown in other films are not, they're not regular people. It's just that what I meant is it's a um, what those conflict societies have is an extraordinary situation, and this is more a regular situation. That's what I'm trying to say. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Drive My Car. Uh, it's sort of a film that you should definitely watch. It is uh, and after you watch it, definitely read Uncle Vanya by Anton Chekhov. It's such an amazing play that has been revived so many times on stage in Broadway, and there have been so many productions of Uncle Vanya. So definitely give that a try as well. Um, so that's pretty much it for today. So next session is going to be um, on 13th April. It's a lights on special. We are continuing our lights on in conversation series. So we'll be having the director of the Telugu film Paka. Um, so he's going to be joining us, and we'll talk to him about his film, his work as a sound engineer, and all that. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on 13th of April. Thank you.